All right, hello. Can you tell us who you are?
My my name is Piper. I'm 9 years old and I'm in fourth grade.
And Piper, how long have you had CBS?
Ever since I was 3 years old.
Ever since you were 3 years old? And when do you know when you were diagnosed with CBS?
No.
When you were 5.
When I was 5.
When you were 5. Okay. And do you remember if there was anything else that they diagnosed you with before you were diagnosed with CBS?
Yes.
Irritable bowel and migraines.
No, not my class.
Okay. Tell her.
And can you describe what it's like when you go through an episode?
Well, I wake up in the middle of the night not feeling good. And
You usually wake mom up if you wake up in the middle of the night?
well, sometimes if I go to try and tell mom and dad, Willow will go wake them up, my dog.
And what happens after you wake up? Do you end up throwing up?
Yeah, so I end up vomiting.
Yeah. And do you have any other symptoms with the vomiting? Do you feel tummy pain or do you have head pain or anything like that?
Yeah, I have both of those, stomach pain and head pain.
Yeah. And then how long does it usually last about?
Sometimes it's a couple hours, sometimes it's a couple days.
Sometimes it's a couple hours or maybe a couple days.
Yeah. And thinking of all the things that happened to you in an episode, Piper, what's the one symptom you would like to get rid of? Like, what's the worst part of it? Is the vomiting the worst? Is the nausea the worst? What's the worst part?
Vomiting.
The vomiting. And Piper, tell me a little bit about your dog. Is your dog a service dog or is it just your dog?
Just my dog.
Just your dog? But so your dog, does your dog kind of sense when you're going to get sick?
Yeah, both of them do.
Both of them do? That's cool. And they must sleep by you then. Do they sleep by you?
Sometimes if I'm laying on the couch, but if I'm in my room, I won't let them in.
Got it. Piper, what would you like someone who doesn't know anything about CBS to understand what it's like to live with CBS?
It's not fun and it is not the pharmacy.
You're right, it is not fun. Piper, how do you feel CBS has impacted your life? And I know impacted is a big word, but how do you feel like it affects your life? Do you feel like you miss out on stuff at school? Do you feel like you miss out on stuff with friends?
All of it.
All of it? What's the biggest thing you feel like you miss out on?
Sleepovers with my best friends.
Well, that's tough. What have you found to help you with your CBS?
My ear thing, sadly, I don't have it on right now.
You had the auricular neurostimulator?
Yes.
And that helped you a lot?
Yes.
Awesome. Piper, maybe this is a better question for your mom, but did CVSA help your family? And if so, how?
I'll just pop in.
That's fine.
They've helped us, our family, a lot. The first thing that we had with the CBSA was the conference. And I think that was a huge turning point for our family because we got to meet a lot of other people going through the same thing where through the doctor's office, nobody really knew what any of this was. So when we went to the conference, we got to meet a lot of family and other kids with the same disorder. And I know when we were looking at the trial, the doctor had mentioned that you guys were instrumental in getting the more kids into the trial for the auricular stimulator. So, and I know that there was help with the conference and stuff like that too, with other people with hotel rooms. And so huge difference. We're very
Awesome.
for all of that.
Piper, how did it feel to meet someone else with CVS?
It felt great
Yeah.
to know that I'm not alone in this world, this lonely world.
That's awesome. Piper, if you could use just one word to describe CVS, what would it be?
Difficult.
Difficult. All right, Piper or Mom, do you have anything else that you want to share with people about CVS or about your journey with CVS?
I think my first piece of advice would be to find a parent or somebody going through it because it is rare, but we're surprised the amount of people we've found near us and even through the doctor's office that were able to help us not feel so alone because you do have a ton of questions, and even our family doctors were really confused on what was going on. And I'm a nurse. I was confused by it too. I had never heard of it before. So it really helped to talk to other people. And our physician getting in contact with Children's Hospital and Dr. Kovacic, that was a big eye opener that it's an actual condition and there are things to help. There's no cure. That was hard to accept, but just tons of people to help. And I know even through the conference, one of the huge helps was a couple people that were running the conference were able to help us with things for school and accommodations that we didn't know anything about. So that was huge too. So reaching out for help, definitely. And I know your website too has we've gotten a lot of help through there too with other parents. So I would refer people to your website too. You're able to get in touch with other people.
Awesome. Do you, so Piper, and maybe your mom can speak to this too, do you feel like the auricular stimulator has helped you live maybe a little bit more of a normal life?
Yes.
She's done tons of medications and they help for a little bit. Some of them don't, but they cause lots of personality changes and issues at school. And once we started the stim device last August, it was a game changer for us. Any vacations that we did, anything, she was always affected, and our older kids were too. But once we started that, she can tolerate things better. She still has episodes, but they're nowhere near what they were before.
I could reach more than just what they were doing at the school.
Okay. So they had a fundraiser at school where run laps and earn money. And normally we would have asked even to have her not do that, but the doctor encouraged us to try it because she did have the stimulator on. And how many laps did you end up running?
I ended up running, I think maybe
30, right?
more than 30.
More than 30. She ran more than they even offered for her to do, which was amazing. She'd never been able to do that without the stimulator.
I think it was 41.
41, yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Good
Yeah.
job. That's amazing. It's great to be able to participate in some events, and that's helping you that much. So